Alright, so now that 2.5 is out, I guess it's time to go ahead and make a quick little follow-up video based on the stuff that I'd said in the original video about how the changes would impact Thor and his playstyle. I was 100% correct. Thor is significantly worse now in every way that was discussed. His survivability is just in the fucking toilet. He's not able to brawl in nearly as efficient a way as he used to be able to before. His sustain is so much, it just feels a lot worse. Having higher rune up time is not any different than it used to be. If you wanted higher rune up time before, you would just pop your lightning realm and do rune again. That's not any different now that you can get it from hammer throw. There are very seldom any opportunities where you want it 3 times in a row. So the trade is for something that we could already do, a combo that we could already do with melee into hammer throw cancel into rune. That was already a thing that I released a video back in, I think, March about, so maybe February, I don't know, it was so long ago. So the thing that you could already do, you can do now, and it's worse because it does less damage. Your sustain is worse, your brawl is worse. You essentially play like a bad DPS because your hitbox is so big that everybody just targets you, and your mobility is shit as soon as you go into your big damage, which, for the record, is not really that big a damage. It's 70 damage per rune that you hit, and they're so slow that, from a distance, you're really not hitting a ton of them. If you're right up in somebody's face, like in this game here, you can hit them pretty consistently. If this was a competent team that had more than, one Ultron healing them, I would be a lot worse off right now. But they're playing 4 DPS, solo Ultron healer, solo Groot, so it looks like I'm fucking smashing because it's quick play, and that's exactly what everybody said. This will do great in quick play, it'll do great in low ranks, it'll do great against incompetent players and bad comps, but as soon as you start playing against any coordinated team whatsoever, as soon as you start, even in like probably Diamond, you're going to start running into trouble with this. Maybe even, I could even see it not being great in Plat. Like that's how bad it is, because everybody at this point in the game understands that when Thor goes into Awakening state, he's vulnerable. He can't really move that well. He has no mobility options to escape anything. All you got to do is trap him and kill him. CC him and kill him, focus him and kill him, hook him, have Fantastic grab him, have Sue, pull him in. Like there's so many options. It doesn't feel good. It's a very bad change for all the reasons everybody said it was going to be a bad change. Now, I did get a lot of comments on my videos that were specifically calling out Flats, the YouTube creator. And I want to say, when I first made that video, it was not with Flats in mind. I wasn't specifically talking about Flats. I hadn't even seen his comments on the Thor changes at the time that I had made it. My commentary then was actually just more general about people that I had seen talking about it, and I guess they had, as I kind of worked backwards from that after seeing so many people talk about Flats, they were kind of taking Flats' opinion and running with it. So I did go back and watch what he had said about it. He's wrong. He's 100% wrong. He's still wrong today. Because he was the one that apparently was saying so much about it, I did actually take the time to go and watch his 2.5 stream when the changes went live. He played Thor in 4 comp games. He went 0-2 while playing Thor in 3 of those comp games before switching or the game ended. And the only game where he had a positive KD on Thor, he lost. And that game he also was playing with 3 tanks. So he was the 3rd tank in a 2 shield tank setup. So essentially he was just playing as a DPS. So he had a positive KD, hiding behind 2 shield tanks, and still lost. In fact, instead of watching this game, let's watch one of those games real quick, because I think it's very educational. We'll watch this one. So basically everything that everybody said was going to happen with the character. So this game he went 5-3 on Mag for the first round, and then he swapped to Thor in the second round. And what he said at the time was that he felt like he needed to do more damage to their backline and wasn't doing enough damage to their backline. So let's see how that went. I'll let this play while I keep talking. So yeah, he went 0-2 on Thor in 3 different games. And then when people were asking him in his chat during his 2.5 live stream about, oh, how do you feel about Thor? What do you think about Thor changes now that you played a little bit? He kept trying to insist that it was fine and like it was a good change, that he likes the change, whatever. You didn't have a single fucking positive KD on him, except for in one game that you played him on, and in that game you still lost. So what do you mean you think the changes are good? They're not good. You know they're not good because you get fucking decimated. You've got a drone on you here, which is the only reason that you're even staying alive this long. And then as soon as like everybody realizes you're here, what happens? You get fucking melted because you have no sustain. You don't know when to leave. You were in rune state, so you couldn't just leave when you should have left. Because you're sitting there, you think Chaining Awakening is a good playstyle for Thor. It's not. That right there highlights why it's not. We are not in a meta anymore where you can get away with that. One of the other comments that I saw on a lot of stuff was like, Shervore had apparently said that he thought it was going to be a good change. And with all due respect to Shervore hasn't played Thor since Season 1, really. He played 11 games on Thor in Season 1.5, and he played 0 games on Thor in Season 2. So he's never really played into the Emma meta. He's never really played into a meta where people understand now that Awakening makes Thor vulnerable. And that's when you should target him. That he's not really that dangerous in it because he has no mobility. He's easy to lock down. He's very easy to target because he's so predictable in his movement during it. He's very slow. He's not going to be able to surge around. He doesn't have any additional ability to get more sustain while he's in it. The sustain that he gets at the start of it is all the sustain that he gets. So people understand how to focus him when he's in it. So that's the meta that you're currently playing this change into. So when Shervore is talking about, oh, I think it's good to have more rune up time, you have to remember that Shervore was playing at a time where that probably would have been good because people didn't really understand what the fuck was going on while Thor was in Awakening. And to the extent that they did, there wasn't a character that's in 50% of games that are Celestial Plus, so that's Emma's pick rate. It's 50% in games of Celestial Plus, who can punish you easily just for going into it if you're anywhere near a front line. Whether that be with her beam or her just fucking walking up to you and slamming you for doing it. Because she's got 5 seconds to get to you. So, stupid. And again, all due respect to Shervore, he was a good Thor back then, but this ain't back then anymore. It's like your fucking grandpa telling you that back in his day he could have gone to college and bought a house for $10,000. Nobody gives a shit, buddy. That time is past, old man. Okay? Again, all due respect, but you're wrong. And we see why it's wrong in the games that Flats try to play. So nobody's surprised by this. Everybody understands like what was happening here. So let's actually do this. We'll talk about one kind of little tech thing, I guess, that some of you guys might get a little bit of use out of. So since you don't have any real neutral anymore, really the only neutral option that you have for any kind of consistent sustain where you don't want to move. So I think I talked about this in the last video too, as it was going to be an issue, is that if you're front line with somebody, you don't necessarily always want to push them backwards, or you don't necessarily always want to like push them to the side because it might push you out of your own team's line of sight. So that's where you have to sort of take advantage of verticals. But even pushing up, like here, that is putting you in the line of sight of the enemy team more too. So you don't always want to do that. So really the only true neutral that you have for like sustain during your brawls now is this. So like just a straight down, it's as close to a neutral as you're going to get without pushing yourself into the enemy team. And for everybody talking about how like the character feels less clunky now, I want you to look at me with a fucking straight face and tell me that doing these nosedives to stay in neutral to keep your sustain up is less clunky than the way that fucking Thor worked before. It's so stupid. Like the fact that this is how you have to work around it, if you don't, like if you absolutely cannot take the risk of pushing the person back further into their team because it puts you back there, or you can't really move out of your healer's line of sight because you're frontlining or whatever. Like this is less clunky. That's what we're talking about. You guys are out of your fucking mind. It's a bad change for every reason that everybody said that it was going to be a bad change. You got a bunch of people for some reason right now, like a bunch of, I guess they're fucking Flats fanboys or something, but they're like posting shit on Reddit talking about like, oh, Flats was right, the change is really good. I'm having a lot of fun now. And then you go look at their comment history, find their in-game name, and work out that they're playing they went 1 and 2 in quick play, but that one quick play game, as soon as they finished it, they came and wanted to talk on fucking Reddit about how great they did. Or like you'll have people just straight up lie. Like one dude was like, oh yeah, I I played 16 games from Diamond 1 to GM2, and I had like 8 MVPs and SVPs, and then you go find his fucking profile because it's not hard. And he's even lying about the number of MVPs and SVPs he got. He got 6. 2 of them were MVPs, 4 were SVPs. He was playing with a pocket healer the whole time that was that started 3 divisions higher than him, and he went 7-6. So what are we really like? It's a lower win rate than he had for the last 2 seasons on the character. But he'll hop on Reddit and be like, "Oh, it's a good change, guys. I think Flats was right." I don't know what's wrong with these people, man. And to watch Flats, you know, when people would ask him straight up in his stream if he thought it was better, just pretend that he wasn't wrong and that it's better, is while still not picking him for any other fucking games after the 3 that he went 0-2 on as Thor, and then pretend like it's better. If it was better, buddy, you'd be playing him. The reason that you're not is because you know how to play Strange and you know how to play Mag, and Mag and Strange both do a poke meta way better than Thor does, so why the fuck would anybody pick Thor at this rate? The one game that Flats did have a positive KD on and lost still was the one where he was standing behind 2 shield tanks and acting like a shitty DPS. And again, if you want to do 70 damage a hit, I mean, I talked about this last game, but if you're just going to stand in the backline and do 70 damage a hit, play Hela. Just play Hela. You're going to be better off for your team. You don't have to ever frontline as Hela, and you don't ever have to frontline as... You're not going to be frontline as Thor anyway, so why not just play Hela? Or, fuck, you want to be really useful to your team with the buffs that they just had? You know who does 66 damage per fucking primary now? Did you know that Luna Snow with hit scan, her primary does 66 damage per body shot. It can crit, by the way, which means that within a certain distance before she has fall off, she can actually 2-tap 250s. Can Thor 2-tap 250s? No, he cannot. Is Thor hit scan? Nope. Does she do more damage than Thor's fucking lightning rune does? Yes, she does. And you know what else she does? She heals her fucking team. You know what else she's got? She's got some CC. Oh my god. She gets CC stuff? And she gets 50 bonus health from that? That's crazy. You know what else she does? She's got an ult that's not dog shit. So, hey, you want to do 70 damage from the backline? You could be a lot more useful to your team doing that as Luna goddamn Snow. So, y'all want to play, you know, a poke non-tank that is only successful in high-level play, apparently. Well, not even successful because they still lost, but can only apparently have a positive KD from the guy that was insisting that this was going to be a great big buff for him. When he's playing with 2 shield tanks, just pick a DPS. Or pick Luna Snow, because anything else, you're wasting your team's time. It's a fucking throw pick. I'm going to check out the Enshrouded update. That looks pretty fun. I haven't played that in, I don't know, like 6 months, and I've heard they've got a couple content patches since then that look a lot more fun than this content patch. Oh my god, look at, can Thor do that? Can Thor do that? Fuck no, he can't.